Okay, so we're going to look at 3 aspects today: the V-cut, undercuts, and fine lines. And as usual, I've got a bonus tip for you. Okay, and we're going to compare it to everybody's favorite burr, the flame burr. Okay, so the V-cut on this is going to be very straight because the sides are very straight, compared to the flame burr where the sides are a little bit rounded, but the flame burr is a little bit narrower. So if we look at this, we can alter the V-cut by altering the angle that we attack it at. And I'm just carving into cedar here and just showing you just a general V-cut and what it looks like. So we can see there it leaves a really nice smooth edges. The dovetail burr is really good at long flowing V-cuts. So I've got the flame burr on the left there. Let's just repeat that. Look at the flame burr. So it sort of like tends to like wobble around a little bit, being thrown out by the grain. So the harder bit of grain there, you can see I've marked it with a pen. And because of the sort of like the rotation and the way you hold the flame burr, you can sort of see here I've got on the left there the flame burr going down. It's always going to want to jump to the left or to the right, just because of that rotation of the burr. And your hand isn't so stable in that position. Okay, so to get those really good cuts with the dovetail, you want to keep the burr sort of like parallel with the line. So the top of the burr needs to be parallel with that line. You can sort of see that I went through that, but don't do this. Sort of don't go sort of like just hold the burr and go around like that, because you're going to get also like different depths of V-cuts. So here I am showing how to do it, so you can sort of see I'm turning my hand in the piece of wood to keep that top bit parallel with the line, so just sort of following the line through. Okay, so here's how not to do it. So I'm just sort of like holding the burr in one kind of place and just going down the line. So you can see here it's really fighting hard, it's starting to smoke. And so we can see here that the line is different sort of depths. So right there is kind of skinny, and just above it is kind of very wide. And there is very wide, so you can sort of see the one I did before is very even. Okay, so I think the dovetail is really, really good at those long flowing lines. Starts to get a little bit difficult when the lines get a little bit tighter. As you can see here, I keep on having to take it out and readjust it. You just can't get that kind of flow on. Okay, so the next aspect is undercuts. And so like, it's not a burr that I would choose to do undercuts with, but on the Kutzall website it said that this could do undercuts, and it can do undercuts, but sort of just at that angle that the inverted cone is at. So I'm going to give it a go. We're carving into cedar here, so it's nice and soft. So those are the burrs that I would use for undercuts. My undercuts probably tend to be a lot finer, under petals of flowers and all of those kind of things. So you can see there I've cut an undercut there, and so there's the undercut there. So yes, it can do undercuts, but it's not a burr that I would choose undercuts for. Okay, so we're going to talk about fine lines now. Okay, so I'm cutting these lines into the boat, and virtually what I do is I look at the top of the burr, so you can see that arrow there, and I'm just concentrating on that and using that as where it's going to cut. So it gives a really, really nice clean line there, and I'll just go in lightly first, so that's sort of like your fine line. But I guess if you go in heavier, well, that's a V-cut, isn't it? So a little bit of overlap there between a fine line and a V-cut. So I just go in and I'm just really concentrating on that top of the burr, and I'm not worrying about drawing in the lines. I've done a lot of these boats, so I just sort of put these little planks in to start with, and then I'll go a bit deeper. So that's what I do to make the planks on the boat. Okay, so for the bonus tip, I'm going to show you just a quick summary of how I smooth out carvings. And I tend to use, after the Kutzall burr, I tend to use like a cutter burr. So you can see one there that I'm putting in, and I've got quite a few of these, got high steel ones and carbide ones and all those kind of things. So the trick here is just to go in lightly, and what you're trying to do is you're just trying to reduce the lines that the Kutzall has left. Even the fine Kutzalls, they tend to leave a few lines. And then I'll go in with a diamond burr and go over with that. I might press a little bit harder with this because it's not going to dig into the wood so much. And then I go in with hand sandpaper and I'll just do the finishing touches. I think I've got the grit 220 there, which I find quite a good grit. Sometimes I'll go up into the 300s, but for this I'm just going to use 220. Okay, so to check the Extreme Cylinder Burr video out, click on this link right here. And thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.